when you guys are starting your piece, you're gonna wanna have it on your board. If you have another piece like your chia pet on your board, I would start just kind of packing those up like in maybe like a small little cardboard box, or just making sure like it's somewhere safe. Like maybe you have a little area to store all your stuff in. On your board, we're going to keep the project itself. However, you're gonna need a lot of room to coil and add them on. If you guys remember in some of the videos, they were rolling out really long coils. Ours are gonna be a lot smaller than that, but you're still gonna want space to be able to roll a coil from your fingertips to your palms, back and forth. Now, we're not gonna get into that so much today. We're gonna kind of get to about here with our pinch pot, all right? So you're not gonna need a tremendous amount of clay because these aren't gonna be huge vases. Make sure that your pinch pot, it starts off with a really, really well-rounded circle, or sphere rather. And that you're smoothing out any like these little cracks. Now take your time with this. Pinch pots seem easy, like they do, and for some people I feel like they really are super easy. However, even though it's, you know, like the definition is an elementary way of, you know, pinching clay, when you're trying to do something to get a base, it's gonna be a little bit more complicated. I gotcha. That's better. You guys are gonna wanna start with it in your palm, and then just take your thumb, push down about 3/4 of the way. It's kind of hard to see, but it's about to here. Now, when you're pinching these, you're gonna want to start out in your palm, using all of your fingers and just creating a nice, smooth form. Sometimes the clay will start to crack the more that you work with it, but that's okay. We're gonna go in and we're gonna smooth all that up. Now, when you're working with these, you wanna make sure that the walls of it are fairly even. You don't want them to get really thin on the top. You don't wanna get a lot of bumps in one area. I want you to really focus on getting a very nice base for your vase. We're also gonna need a little bit thicker of a rim on the top because we're going to be attaching our first coils. So as I go, I'm gonna gradually set it down and line up my template. And I wanna make sure that this will line up with my template appropriately. I have a little bit more to push outward, and then I'm gonna start to form the bottom. So I'm just kind of going around. I'm gonna push out with my finger the bottom a little bit to kind of widen out the base. And if you spend, 2 hours working on a really beautifully smooth pinch pot, that is okay. I know that sounds a little nutsy, but all right, I'm gonna move my camera for you guys here. I think it'll be a little bit better from a side view. Let's see. No, it won't dry. You'll be fine. For this project, the main tools that we're going to be using are the rib tools. And I'm going to go grab a few right behind me. That were right behind me. So you guys should have 3 in your bag. You should have a blue one, a wooden one, and a metal one, which doesn't look like there's one in this, but that's okay. Before we do any coils on here, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start to smooth this up a little bit with my rib tool. Just going over any of like these little crack areas and just kind of start smoothing it just a little bit. Now, if it's really wet clay and it's moving, then I would recommend just going in and continuing to smooth with your hand. My favorite tool is the metal rib tool opposed to these. I like working with this one on the wheel a lot, but I like the metal rib tools for hand building. And we're gonna use those a lot once we kind of get to the start of these coils. But see, making sure it's nice and even still. Now, how the template's gonna work is we're gonna be lining it up, and I usually like to do it in like 4 different areas. So I'll kind of start here, and you can see that there is a little clay that's not up against it. So that means I have to kind of push my form out a little bit, and I'm gonna do it one side. That one needs to be pushed out quite a bit. And I just do it in 4 different sections. Now, once I'm able to line it up, I can then go in and adjust it. So I know that's the shape I want to keep. Now I just want to go in and smooth it out. That's going to be a lot more even for me. So you don't want to mess with it too much. Now you just want to smooth it. So be really careful not to move that form. I find it helpful if you flip it over. And so it's really important because this is the start of your vase. Now, once we get our first coil on tomorrow, we'll really be able to line this up a lot more with the bottom as well. And I'm just taking my time with this because I just want to kind of like reiterate, it's okay to take your time, especially when you're learning, you know, new things. Don't feel like you need to rush through it. Don't feel like you need to, like, you know, put a pinch pot together real quick. Really focus on what you have. And then as we build up the form, you're going to be so much more successful. Once you feel like you have a pretty good shape going on, kind of give it a little bit of a tap until you form a nice flat base. And once it's on your board, you guys can do a few things. You could go in and you could smooth the bottom out a little bit more. I am actually going in and pushing it just almost like into the board. I'm not moving any of the clay. I'm just smoothing up the side of the walls. But just that little bit of pressure will keep my pot on the board. So this is step one. You guys want to have a really nice smooth pinch pot. When I do my first coil on this, I'm gonna adjust a little bit with my template you guys will see tomorrow. Nice, you know, about size of my pinky finger, I guess. Rim around here to attach your first coil to. This is gonna be the smoothest pot that you're gonna make for right now. Then maybe I'll make a smoother one. All right, I'm gonna stop here as far as building the pinch pot, but I'm just gonna show you guys a coil, and then tomorrow I'll do a formal coil video and we'll start building on these.